Yes, we are live. And heartiest welcome, Sarthak, and thanks for taking time out despite your busy IT OC training schedule. And you could take time out so late in the night, and I know you have to start early in the morning tomorrow. Heartiest congratulations from entire team on behalf of all the faculties and teachers. So, how are you feeling? How is the feeling of getting All India rank 5 in CA Intermediate?
It's a very great feeling. I was just sitting in the batch, and when the results were announced at 10:30, so we all took out our phones and we were checking the results. So when I told the faculty also that one student of our batch only has got AI5, so they were all amazed to see that also.
Oh, nice, nice. So, that'll be a memorable batch, I guess.
Yes, sir.
So before that, a night before that, what was your feeling? How did you feel? You had to go to the orientation session. They would not give you leave, of course,
Yes,
and the results would be declared. So what was going on in your mind? And what did you think when you leave home early in the morning that day?
so they were butterflies in the stomach because the result could be declared anytime. So and even in the metro, the results could have been declared. So and at 10:30 when they were declared, so we were checking the phones every second that when will the results be declared. So it was already it was a surprise to us because the time isn't told to us.
Yeah, time isn't told to us, and very, very, very amazing marks, to be frank. So a lot of students have joined in on the YouTube channel as well, and we'll be taking their questions as we move ahead. So once you got your result, what was the first feeling? Do you want to call your parents, or what did you do immediately after the results, after telling the faculty out there?
So I told my friends which were sitting besides me, and they were all congratulating me that they were shaking hands with me, and the people from other classes also came to meet me that one student in this building has got AIR5. So they were all
Oh.
asking all these, how did you prepare and all these things.
And yes, we also do have a lot of questions on how did you prepare and all of that.
Yes.
But going back slightly, maybe around your 10th standard or 11th standard, when did you choose or decide to, okay, CA is something that I would want to do, or commerce is something that I would pursue, and I would pursue chartered accountancy? What was the motive and what was the inspiration to pursue CA as a course?
So in the 11th class, when they allowed provisional registration for CA foundation once you cleared your class 10. So I registered for CA there and then only, because when I
Okay.
saw the subjects that they will teach us finance and strategic management and a little bit about IT, economics and accounting and taxation. So all these areas are of my interest when I look at this when I looked at the syllabus. So
Okay.
I decided to pursue CA, and because all the subjects were of my interest, and it is not a burden while studying.
Nice. And any CA background in the family? Anyone in the family whom you know who inspired you?
Yes, sir. My father is a CA.
Oh, nice. So,
Yes,
under his guidance, I guess you have done exceptionally well. Congratulations to the entire family as well.
thank
And
you.
the celebrations would be still going on in your family.
Yes, sir.
Okay, nice. So, coming to your starting of your journey after CA Foundation, how did you approach your classes for CA Inter, or how did you prepare for CA Inter? Broadly, how many revisions did you do? If you can just summarize your strategy in the next 2-3 minutes, that would actually be a guide to students who are listening to this live stream.
So, sir, one thing I had decided in starting only once even before the CA foundation results were declared in last year in July, I had decided that I have to appear both the groups in May next year. So the mindset was very clear that I have to do 8 subjects and there are 10 months. So I
Right.
decided I had completed the syllabus and all the classes which I have taken for 3 4 subjects till January end. So
Wow. So in January, you completed whatever subjects you wanted to take classes for.
all the subjects and the course self study was also completed, so that I have enough time for MTP and RTP. And because 3 hour uh, putting 3 hours and doing the papers is very important, because you have to attempt 100% of the paper.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. So
So by January, you are saying that you completed whatever classes you had taken, and also whatever self-study you did, that also you completed by January.
yes, sir.
And then the remaining time was for what? Revision and MTPs and
For
RTPs?
revision and for any remaining doubts in the subjects which are there, and for any amendments which are there in taxation and law. So that
Nice.
was the time.
So to all the students who are listening, this syllabus completion on time is very, very important. And Sarthak has done a wonderful job. He in fact told me that he had, accounting, cost accounting, financial management, all of this he did on self-study basis, if I'm not wrong, referring to some, YouTube lectures or ICI lectures.
Yes, yes.
Right. So even with that, he has secured AIR 5, and that is, I think, an amazing feat, I should say. It's not easy, especially, when there are a lot of distractions around. And it's a mind-blowing achievement. When I got to know that, some of the new subjects like accounting and costing and FM, you did it on your own. Hats off, man. That is really nice.
Thank you.
So, with us, Sarthak has taken EIS classes. I think he also practiced some MCQs from our platform. He used to post queries now and then on the forums. I remember still, I just remember it when I go back and see, yes, Sarthak used to ask some questions. So why did you, choose to take classes for EIS as a subject? Or what was the reason for taking classes for some of the subjects that you have chosen to take classes?
In law, because uh, the interpretation has to be there.
Right.
So that for that I took the classes, and for taxation also it is a vast subject, and one
Exactly.
cannot rely on. I try to do self-study, but I cannot do because GST and income tax both are vast. So to
Right.
summarize them and to explain it in a crisp and clear way, so therefore I took some classes. And Indigo EIS classes I had seen on YouTube, some demo lectures. So
Okay.
I really like the way Anvesh Shetty sir explained by giving examples, explained the concepts by visualizing and explaining the examples. So that fits everything in this technical subject into the mind. So that
Oh,
is why I was able to connect with the classes. So that is why I tried to pursue these classes.
thanks. And we are glad that we have been a part of your journey. But then, as far as our effort goes, it would be less than 10%. The effort of student is what matters, right? So I think you have done a commendable job there. And Anvesh has dropped in a message congratulating you. He's actually in a flight right now, and he would not, if it was 9 o'clock, maybe he would have joined, but he could not join now, right? So coming back just a second. Coming back, to your preparation, I know at times things would be get difficult. Some of the times you don't understand few things. Some of the times, did you also feel that I'm forgetting some things? Did you get, come across these phases that I've forgotten some concepts? Because a lot of students keep on asking us that, we forget some concepts what we have learned. So did you ever, get into these kind of scenarios where you feel that, oh, I read it somewhere, but again, I've forgotten and I have to start from scratch?
Yes, sir. This especially happens in theory subjects. For example, in audit, I had completed the syllabus and then I left it for 2 months. Then when I
Okay.
started again, then I had to give some more time to it as compared to other subjects, because I had left it for 2 months. So that is one thing I would not advise. That was a mistake done by me. And as regards that other subjects are concerned, we need to practice every illustration at least 2 times of the study material in practical subjects. And
Mhm.
practicing MCQs also for theory subjects helps a lot because it keeps the concepts clicking in your mind.
All right. So to all the students, sometimes forgetting concepts is absolutely okay. AIR 5 is vouching you that on the screen right now. And the trick that he says is keep revising, so practice MCQs, repeat the illustrations, don't give a long gap. It's not that you have finished a subject and then you give a gap and then again you start, you may feel that something you have missed out. So that is something which you should not do. And during the preparation, students also come up with this, stressed, sometimes demotivated. So how did you handle stress? How did you manage the examination stress or preparation stress, especially when you're doing few subjects on your own? So how did you manage and all of these things along with your studies? If you can throw light on that.
So actually, my parents and teachers also kept me motivated throughout, and they also helped a lot in the journey. And the teachers were constantly solving the doubts. And as far as stress is concerned, so I had only well, I had only those 4 months in mind that I have to give my best. And after completing the syllabus, I have to practice MTP and RTPs also. So as I was practicing MTPs and RTPs, so the score was increasing when I was giving the mock tests. So that
Okay.
eases out the stress. So you have to give mock tests, and you have to practice the question papers, which will ease out your stress, because when you see that you are getting the marks, then you will obviously be relieved.
And also, I think you can learn quite a few from your mistakes as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is nice. So now coming back to your family and all of that. So how are they feeling once you have got AIR 5, and what are their thoughts, and what do they want you to do now? Going forward, are they expecting Sarthak getting AIRs in the final as well? Is there some kind of pressure from the family, or how is the environment back at home?
So they were really glad. They were calling me at the classes. Also, the moment the results were declared, they called me, and uh, there is no burden from the family that you have to get, AIR in final. Also, you just have to give your best. You first you must be relieved, and do not think about finals straight away. You think about your articleship, where you have to do get some exposure, and then after 2 3 months when you get settled, then you think about how to approach CA finals. There is no pressure. Obviously there is expectation, but there is no pressure to get AIR every time.
Glad that so keeping the expectation aside, I wish that you perform exceptionally well even at the CF final level. Now if you have to elaborate some strategies for practical papers and some strategies for theory papers for the students, if you could give quick tips to the students as to how they should plan, how many hours to study, because that is one question what everyone has. Should we study for 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours, 8 hours? So how many hours did you study, and how many subjects did you study per day? What was your overall approach in handling the preparation time?
So I would advise to start very early, because if you are certain about your CA foundation results, you should give a 3 4 day gap after your foundation exams, and then you should start. So
Okay.
starting early means you don't have to study for 15 to 16 hours a day. I used to study for 9 to 10 hours a day, and I used to consistency is very important. So I used to do that consistently. It is not like you study for one day and then you study for one day for 15 hours, then you don't study for 2 days. So instead of that, you should study for 8 hours a day, but you should do that consistently.
Okay.
As far as theory subjects are concerned, no part of the whole syllabus should be left, because MCQs they come from anywhere. They come
Exactly.
from any corner of the book, especially in EISSM and audit. They come from any corner of the book. So
Exactly.
no portion should be left, at least in the theory part, in the MCQ subjects, that is law, taxation, auditing, and EISSM. And
Right.
as far as practical subjects are concerned, there is students face time constraint in completing the paper, because costing and accounting papers were actually not from many questions were not from the study material, so concept clarity has to be there. And I was able to attempt 100% of the paper in both of them, because practicing MTPs and RTPs uh, by keeping the 3 hour time limit is very important. So as you keep practicing them, your attempt rate starts to increase. First, you will attempt 80. You will be able to attempt 80 marks, then 90 marks. So you have to attempt 100% of the paper, and you have to complete 100% of the syllabus in theory subjects.
So I think if I have to quickly summarize, completion of syllabus, practicing so that you can attempt 100 marks of the paper, not leaving anything in theory, starting early, being consistent. I think these are the mantras for the students. So
Yes.
those of you who are listening to Sarthak, please keep these things in mind. Syllabus completion is very, very important. And we have seen that across results of the students. Students who have completed 85, 90, 95% of the syllabus, whether it's self-study, watching our lectures, watching some other institutes lectures, attending some other classes, but completion of syllabus and following up with a proper revision plan is, I think, what has been the mantra for success for Sarthak. So again, those things you can put a note. Students, if you have any questions, you can start asking us on the chat box, and I'll be taking those questions to Sarthak straight away. Now, coming back, so I've completed CA intermediate, and now, ITOC is going on. So after this, what are your plans for articleships? What kind of firms would you want to join? Would you want to join your father's firm, or would you be joining some, let's say, Big Four or mid-sized firm? What's your plan ahead?
So I'm looking for articleship in Big Fours, because exposure which you get there is really of a different level, because you get exposed to the real world. And I'm looking for I'm interested in finance and audit, and uh, so I'm looking to get a good exposure and good opportunities for growth, because
Right.
now it has been reduced to 2 years. So I'm looking for doing industrial training also in the last 9 to 12 months as well.
Okay. So an agriculture plus industrial training exposure, I think that forms a perfect balance for the students, and you will actually get a good amount of exposure there. Then apart from CA, like, do you have minds to pursue any other course like an MBA or some other international certifications? Do you have something in mind, or right now your focus is only on CA?
Sir, the focus is currently on CA, but I do have doing an MBA at the back of my mind. After, if I am able to complete CA in first attempt, then I will be able to get adequate time for gaining some work experience and then pursuing some higher courses as well. So
Right.
currently the focus is completely on CA.
Okay, so currently the focus is fully on CA, and that is what you would want to pursue. After finishing CA is when you want to plan for other aspects. So some of the students who have asked is how many hours we have already covered that. Subject specific strategy, especially for theory, how to remember stuff that you have learned, how to revise, and how to present the answers. So those are some questions which are coming up, if you can address. And then there is one more question which says how to study audit. It's really vague, so that is another question which has come up. So first, coming to theory papers, how to remember what you have learned, and how to revise, and how to retain. If you can share your strategies, I think that would help the students.
So in theory papers, you should not cram up anything, and in audit, as far as audit is concerned, you should understand everything, and if you can form a sequence that in this essay these parts are there. For example, in essay 230, first we talk about nature of audit documentation, then we talk about other aspects. So if you can form a sequence, and you should not try to cram up the whole portion, just try to remember the keywords. And if you are able to match the headings with the ICI material, that is very important, because if you have understood the inner portion, you can make it up. But uh, I would suggest to match the headings, because headings are very important. And as far as law is concerned, remembering the section numbers is difficult, but it helps to form a sequence in your mind that section number 1, 2, 3, this is there. So you tend to remember all the sections in one go.
One go.
Remembering sections in law and taxation also is beneficial.
Okay. So that is beneficial. Yes, audit. So he has addressed audit related concern also. Then I think a couple of other questions which we have already covered in that. Now, coming back to classes, you have taken online classes, right? So why did you choose to take online classes, and why did why did you find it beneficial? Were you able to concentrate well in the classes? What has been your experience as far as online classes are concerned?
Sir, in online classes, there is the commuting time is saved, so you can just watch the classes anytime. There is convenience, and there is no wastage of time, because you have to just focus on the classes. And then because in offline classes you tend to go, and then the 1 hour in going and 1 hour in coming back is wasted. So that plays an important role if you can save that time.
Okay. And apart from that, were you able to understand whatever was taught in the class? And how did you find, EIS classes, especially from Indigo Learn? Were the animation helpful? Were the MCQs helpful? How was the experience been with Indigo Learn?
So the MCQs were really great, because I used to practice them in my free time. So they helped in brushing up the concepts. And as far as EIS classes are concerned, uh, because EIS is a technical subject, so I was intimidated that how will I cover such a different subject, especially in CA. The IT is such a different subject. There are a lot of technical terms. So the sir was able to explain the technical terms in a simple way by those animations and graphics and those examples which he had framed.
Right. So that has been the idea for us also, to have it simplified for the students, so that critical and very tough topics can also be simplified and presented to the students. So coming to your results, are you happy with the marks you got, or you're still feeling if I would have got some 10 marks, 20 marks extra, I would have got AIR1? Is there somewhere that kind of regret in your mind, if I have to ask you?
No, sir, I was expecting a rank, but I was not expecting a single digit rank. So I am satisfied with it. Obviously, the difference is between AIR 1 and 5 is only 19 marks, so always there is a greed in the mind, but I'm satisfied with that.
You're satisfied, and that is the way to go. And put in your best and leave it to the rest. Whatever it happens, because everyone puts good amount of effort to appear in the exam and prepare for the examination. Now, coming to nearby the exam times, especially after your March, April, when the exam stress peaks up. So, what was your routine at that point of time? How many subjects did you revise per day? And how did you manage your schedule in the entire day? How did you block them out? Did you have a timetable prepared, or was it like, today I want to study this, so I will study this? What was your approach in that?
So by majority of the syllabus was completed, so I used to practice question papers, and the routine was like I don't used to wake up very early. I used to wake up at 8 or 9, and then I used to study for 10 to 11 hours because the exams were now approaching. And whenever I was tired, I used to turn on the 3-hour clock, and that I used to practice the paper. And
Okay.
the in the morning, if you should keep a mix of theory and practical always, because first you do theory, then when you are if you are bored, then you can do practical subjects. And in practical subjects, especially practicing the papers is important, because especially in practical subjects, students face time constraints. In theory, because there are MCQs as well, they are able to complete the paper.
So for time management, you would suggest a lot of practice for the students. So those of students who are listening to this and who just watch the lectures as if you're watching a movie, it is time to put pen on paper and solve it along with the faculty or the lecturer, whoever is teaching you those subjects. And what were your stress busters? Whenever it's obvious that you would have stress at some point of time. What would be the stress busters? What would you do if you feel stressed? Whom would you talk to, or what would you do?
I used to talk to my parents, and they used to motivate me, and they used to help me in the difficulties. And I used to play some cricket and some chess also in the meantime, whenever I used to get stressed out, because it helps to ease the mind. And when the exams were approaching, because there was one thing in mind that I have to study for 1 month only, then I'm free. So that is also a great stress buster, that you have to give your best for 1 month, because if you give your best, then afterwards you will only have the good results. So that is also.
So that helped you. So anything on social media? There's a lot of talk that you should not be on Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever it is. So what was your approach to manage the social media distraction?
I use Instagram, but put a time limit that I don't have to use it for more than 15 minutes a day. And I was active on only WhatsApp and a little bit on Instagram. That is it.
So, but what if when the pop-up comes and you put the passcode and you allow it for more than 15 minutes? Did it ever happen to you? Because it happens with a lot of students. Sometimes even with us, like time is up, so you just put the passcode and then you allow it to run for some more time.
So a little bit. Sometimes it happens, but then it comes to the mind that what are you doing? That you should study now, because you have only 9 months. You have only 9 months to do 8 subjects, so you shouldn't waste even a little amount of time. So
Right.
that used to come into the mind, and because as soon as the exams were approaching, the seriousness levels were also rising.
Okay, so I think that's a good amount of dedication from your and Sarthak. So very valuable tips, students. How to avoid distraction, setting time limit, and then how to be dedicated, how to practice. If you see, he has been emphasizing a lot on MTPs and RTPs, and that is one area where students tend to ignore. They feel that we know the answer and hence we can go and write the exam. But when you actually write in the examination, if your pen doesn't move at the speed, then you may not be able to attempt full marks, and and then results might also suffer, right? So thanks a lot, Sarthak, for sharing all your valuable insights. Before we conclude, is there anything else you would want to cover up, or which you would want to share with the students, your fellow friends at Indigo Learn as well? Do you want to share with them some of the tips so that they can implement it? Some things they should do, some things they should not do.
So in audit, and if, for example, in audit, you should, after completing the syllabus, you should watch some practical videos which are available on YouTube, such as, for example, how stock count is actually carried out, and how external confirmation is sent to the banks and the third parties. So that helps you keep that concept, those essays in your mind. that
Oh.
that brushes up the concepts. And as far as EIS is concerned, you should not be constrained to the syllabus. You should try to gain exhaustive knowledge about how it works, how cloud computing works, and how everything is carried out.
Right.
So you should not constrain yourself, but only after you have completed the syllabus, you should do these things. And one more thing is there, that practicing the papers helps you to put in the exam environment. So even if the question paper, for example, of accounting and costing and FMECO, even if it comes difficult, you are able to handle it because you have already given those new questions in the MTPs and RTPs.
Right, exactly. And something you would want students not to do, like you did and you don't want them to do.
So as I mentioned that I had left audit for 2 months after completing it. So that is what I would not advise to do. I used to cover up 3-4 subjects a day, every day. So you shouldn't be touched with every subject and every concept. You should not leave any subject for a long period of time, because then revising would take a lot of time.
Okay. So again, thanks a lot for taking time out at a busy schedule, and congratulations once again for securing AIR 5. Our team will get in touch with you with the cash award that you are eligible because you are our student as well, right? So that formalities will complete, and all the best for your future endeavors. All the best for your articleship. And if you have more questions from the students, we have covered it. Most of the questions that would come, you have already covered. But if at all they come up with more questions, and you have also started a thread on our app where you had requested students to put up their question. So whenever we get some questions, we'll reach out to you, and then we'll share it with the students. Thanks a lot for taking time out, and all the best, Sarthak.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.